With Dricus du Plessis defending his belt for the second time, today I'm going to go over some of the options that he's going to have for his third title defense. And obviously, to me, there are three, right? You got Nasruddin Imavov, you got Khamzat Chimaev, and you got Alex Pereira. Now, DDP's already said that he wants Chimaev, and you have to have a lot of respect for that. But I do kind of want to go into these other matchups as well as the Chimaev one and kind of break them down and see how DDP matches up against all three of these guys. Now, the first one I'm going to go over is going to be Nasruddin Imavov. Now, to me, I really think that out of all these three fighters, I think Imavov is going to be the easiest one to beat. For the most part, I don't even believe it's his skill set. I think his skill set is very good. Obviously, he's coming off a huge win over Israel Adesanya where he knocked him out. A very, very good win. And obviously, the guy's got skills for days, right? He can do everything. He's sharp on the feet. He's good kicks on the feet. He's fast, great boxing, sharp boxing. His ground game is elite as well, right? He's got good submissions. His takedown entries are solid. He's a big guy as well. What my issues are with Nasruddin Imavov is the physicality. I think it's going to be way too physical for him against Dricus. And I really would not give Imavov a good chance of beating him. Now, obviously what you got in Dricus is just a bull, a big old dude who's durable. He pushes the pace. He's got great endurance and cardio, and he would just wear on Nasruddin Imavov. I could not imagine how that fight would go. I'm very serious when I say this, that I would be willing to put a lot on Dricus to beat Nasruddin Imavov. You just look at his skill set, right? And it's the best matchup for him, honestly, out of these three by far. I really do believe that Dricus' strength is something that would play, and physicality, like I said before, would play huge dividends in this fight. I really think, Imavov has issues being controlled in the clinch. Roman Dolidze was able to do it for 9 or 10 minutes, and you're not going to be able to get away with that against a guy like Dricus, who is just going to absolutely brutalize, bully you, and I think he'd absolutely bully Nasruddin Imavov in the octagon. If I had to make a line for that fight, I would probably line Dricus around minus 300. I really don't think Imavov has what it takes to go out there and put Dricus on the back foot, one, or make him back up and make him not, go in the clinch. And I think it'd be a drowning. I think Imavov would get drowned, absolutely drowned. And for me, I went over that one first because I really do think that that's the easiest matchup, without a doubt. Obviously, the next one, there is Alex Pereira. Now, to me, I don't really know how to, pick this fight because Alex Pereira is going to have a weight advantage, right? The guy, walks around 235, 240, around that area. And by the way, I want to say if this fight was at middleweight, it would not be close. I would easily pick, Dricus to absolutely kill Alex, right? But at 205, you are looking at a different Alex Pereira. And I think that the version of Alex that fought, Yuri and Jamal, it's a different one. He's way more filled out. And you can just look at the previous fights, right? The Jan Blachowicz fight, when Alex had just moved up to 205, he did look a little thin and a little slim. But then after that, and even, when you look at his middleweight fights, obviously, but after that, he looked big, man. He looked big for the Jamal. He looked big as hell for the Yuri fights. The dude is huge. He's huge. And Dricus is a guy who kind of relies on that kind of strength. Now, obviously, there's a big gap here, right? And that is going to be the wrestling of Dricus, the pressure of Dricus, and the durability of him, right? Because a guy like Alex is a master counter striker, a master striker in general, right? And I have a lot of respect for his skill set. I'm not a huge fan of his fans. They're very, brain rot, and they kind of just make me not like him. But he is a very good fighter. Now, to be fair, I would probably pick Nikita Krylov to beat Alex, and that's saying something because I think Dricus can beat Alex. At 205, it'd be a little bit tougher, but at 85, and I know that was once a part of the conversation now, if Dricus or Alex were to move down and fight Dricus, not a chance. He wouldn't have a chance. He would get absolutely destroyed. He'd possibly get knocked out, or he'd definitely get, destroyed. So 85 is out of the question. Now, you look at 205, and Dricus absolutely has the skill set to go out there and dominate Pereira, but there is that factor with Pereira. Obviously, the guy has incredible timing, incredible striking, and he can set you up and knock you out cold. And I know Dricus is durable, but Pereira has different type of power, as everybody knows. But once this fight kind of hits the mat, I would expect Dricus to suffocate Pereira. Now, I don't know how good Pereira's takedown defense is, really, because we haven't really seen it that much, right? But he was taken down by Jan Blachowicz eight times, I want to say, or 7 times. He was able to, neutralize the damage or the submission attempts from on top. But still, you're getting taken down by Blachowicz that many times. Your takedown defense probably isn't where it needs to be. And obviously, Jan is a pretty good wrestler, but I would definitely think that Dricus is more explosive. He's probably faster with the takedown entries and more athletic as well, because Jan is so old now. But I would have to go and, out there and pick Dricus to beat Pereira at 205, at 85, whatever it is. And I first of all, I'm going to be picking Magomed to beat Alex. And I'll talk about that eventually, whenever that happens. But I will definitely, any wrestler that is up against Pereira, I'm going to pick them. Even if a guy like Magomed, whatever, he doesn't wrestle that often, Dricus is going to wrestle often, and he's going to be able to get the fight to the mat. And if he can't, I do expect him to wear on Alex, and by the time it gets to those later rounds, is Alex going to have the power to put him out? I don't know, because Dricus is very, very durable, extremely durable, man. And I think that personally, I would pick Dricus. I'd probably line the fight around minus 175 for DDP, and I think that'd be fair. Obviously, you're taking into note that Dricus is moving up a weight class, and that Alex hasn't really faced any grapplers besides Blachowicz, really. So, yeah, man, that's how I'd go about the Alex fight. And obviously next, Chimaev. Now, I have some problems with this because I'm a big Dricus fan, and you might be able to see because of the bias. But look, I will not deny that Chimaev absolutely 100% has a chance to finish Dricus, and that it worries me. It absolutely worries me because I am a big fan of DDP, man, and I can see Chimaev just taking him down because Brunson was able to. Chimaev is just so damn explosive with the takedowns, so explosive, and it absolutely makes me nervous. Okay, I'm hoping Chimaev just has to pull out or something, but I believe that this fight will be next, and I don't know how it's gonna go because I doubted Chimaev in the past versus Whitaker. I had Whitaker, and he shut me up pretty quick and dominated Rob. And I don't remember if that fight was finished in the second. I think it was. And it was just the body language of Rob. He looked gassed out. And it's just because of all the wrestling on top. And Khamzat absolutely dominated him, right? With that being said, Dricus, I don't think he has the same defensive wrestling skills as Chimaev. But what Dricus does have is a lot more strength than Robert Whitaker. He's much, much stronger. And you saw, it was very evident when Robert Whitaker took on DDP. And I believe that, Whitaker took DDP down as well, if I'm not mistaken. But you saw, Dricus just throw Robert Whitaker, grab him in the clinch and just trip him and throw him. And I would expect that strength would come to help him. But man, Dricus just seems to have this plot armor where he can't lose. He cannot lose. And he's taken on Chimaev, who has not lost in the UFC. I think that aside from Jones and Pereira and maybe Makhachev and Ilya, this is the biggest fight you can make, 100%. And it will happen, right? And I'm not sure about Ilya Islam if that's going to happen, or Aspinall Jones. We still don't know. But for the most part, we should probably know that Dricus will fight Khamzat. And I think that this is going to be one of the biggest fights ever. Because obviously, one, you got two undefeated guys. You got two undefeated guys in the UFC. Chimaev runs through everybody, and Dricus is just not lost, right? And he's defended the belt twice. He's beat some great fighters. And a lot of those fights coming inside the distance, aside really from Sean Strickland, you know what I mean? So two fight-finishing guys hopping in the octagon. And on the other hand, you got big personalities clashing, right? Dricus is a fantastic on the mic, right? He's so good on the mic. Was able to make Strickland and Adesanya cry. And I do kind of have to worry because Chimaev is not really the same Chimaev we used to see, right? After like the UFC 279 when he was, losing his mind, he missed weight and he just flicked off the crowd like just an idiot. we don't really see that Chimaev anymore. He's kind of more humble, more laid back. And I think that kind of sucks because I want to see Chimaev and DDP go at it on the mic. I think it'd be great. And honestly, I would definitely put it above Ilya and Makachev thinking about that. I think it could have a chance to be above Alex and Aspinall just because the media presence. Obviously, the fight is fantastic, but even the talking, there's going to be a lot of shit talking, and two guys who are pretty reckless on the mic. I think it'd be a really really fun fight. But overall, man, I love Dricus, but I really think it's a tough fight. And, I probably will end up picking Dricus whenever the fight happens. But, man, I can't deny that Chimaev's got a real shot. And I would absolutely think that the books would think so as well. And most of everybody who is predicting the fight, I would imagine that they would pick Chimaev to win just because of the visuals, right? When a guy like, Derek Brunson was able to take him down, a guy like Robert Whitaker was able to get him down pretty easily. But those are guys who I don't want to say can mix it up that well because Brunson doesn't mix it up that well, but you kind of know what Chimaev's going to do, right? He's going to come and shoot a takedown. And I feel like a guy like Dricus with his skill set could be able to, see those coming. And it would be hard for me not to see, Chimaev getting him down. But as the fight continues, Dricus has a ton of heart. He's not going to quit. And I think the fight could be interesting when it gets to that point. But a lot of people won't think it'll get to that point. And myself included, I think it's a tough, okay? And I want to line this fight the right way and line it the way that I think it will be lined, right? So I'll probably go with DDP being around plus 150. Oh, man, I think it could be more. I want to go – they got to give him some respect. I want to go plus 175 on DDP. And obviously Chimaev would be the favorite, whatever that is, minus 215, minus 200, around that area. Man, I think it's such an intriguing fight. I'm really excited, to see what's next for DDP. Obviously, the Chimaev fight is more likely, but we've seen crazy shit before. What if Chimaev gets an injury, then takes on Imavov, right? Where I would be willing to hammer Chimaev, DDP to beat Imavov. I think he would kill him. Or somehow, whatever, Ankalaev steps out. No, I don't think, Ankalaev steps out and, DDP steps up. I doubt that. But maybe. We've seen crazy shit before. And I'm down to see all three of these guys take on DDP. But overall, Chimaev definitely has the best chance, in my opinion. And, yeah, man, that's going to wrap it up. My predictions for the Fight Night Cannonier Rodriguez going to be out tomorrow. Make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, man. And I'll catch you in the next one.